A to the K.
to the K.
To the K. Hello, one and all. Welcome to the A2theK Wrestling Show. We're back sooner than ever because we were so lazy last week.
Does it feel like soon for that? No, I suppose it would be because it's only been released the other day. So yeah,
exactly.
Pretty damn soon.
As we said, double dosage this week.
Damn.
Effectively. You know, on the tough stuff. Double dose of A2theK. And a double dose of the news because coming up tonight on the Ringside Report, Bray Wyatt is absent. We have an update on his whereabouts.
It's like Where's Wally or something like that.
Yeah.
Where's Wyatt?
Where's Wyatt? That's me.
Anyway, WWE is set to meet potential buyers as soon as April. God.
TNA's Crimson has been arrested and jailed.
John Cena has commented on the Vince McMahon allegations.
The Bella Twins are no more. They're still alive, but they're no longer going by.
Damn. Konnan is set to induct Rey Mysterio into the WWE Hall of Fame.
The Barbarian?
Yes.
Oh. Madusa wants a retirement match.
Okay. Ricky Starks is actually suing the arena over the leaked Royal Rumble picture with Cody.
Goddamn.
That's pretty much... I don't really need to cover that now because pretty much that's everything.
That is the news. Taya Valkyrie is finished up with Impact Wrestling.
Is it Taya?
It is Taya.
Tia?
I thought it was Tia. I checked it. I don't know how to say it. I didn't want to sound
Taya,
stupid like you just did. And it's Taya.
I'm willing to be myself on this show,
Well,
Carl.
Some of us do the research first.
I mean, I could try that maybe. Research. What's
Make
that?
for a better show, really.
Anyway, Devon Dudley is set for an in-ring return.
What the heck?
I mean, it's mad when you consider when we spoke to him, he was very much like, "No, I'm done. I'll be there to support him. I might take a bump here and there."
A few months.
And now, potential. Well, we'll talk about it.
We will talk about it. Because when's it all coming up?
It's all coming up right friggin' now.
Oh, we changed it to friggin'. I love it. So, where's Wyatt? We've got this new picture book right here.
Is he over here?
So there's a lot of speculation.
Isn't he on the wall?
He is actually. Where is he on the wall?
Where's Wyatt?
There
he is.
Right behind you.
Right there.
Right behind you.
We found him.
He was here.
Let WWE know.
It's like that. What was that show? Was it Are You Afraid of the Dark? Sort of where someone got trapped in a picture that time. That's what we did. Trapped him in a picture.
That sounds
And he
terrible.
lives there. I know, yeah. Really
That was
shouldn't
Are
be
You
on
Afraid of the
Nickelodeon. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Anyway, without going off script.
Oh no, we're going.
Some people have noticed Bray Wyatt hasn't been seen in a little bit, in a hot minute. And Lashley tweeted before Raw this past week, I've worked too hard to be denied. I'll be ready to fight on the biggest stage of them all, WrestleMania. I don't care who it is. Somebody will feel the wrath of the Almighty. Which is perplexing because Bray Wyatt's already called out Bobby. So why is he saying it doesn't matter who it is? So a lot of people are going, what's going on? What's going on? So
Because it might not be Bray, might be the Fiend, or might be Uncle Howdy.
Well, a few of the
Or
Genos, if they want to call themselves that, did a bit of digging and a couple of different things. So some people originally reported he's off with some personal issues. It was like, all right, okay. And then that's since changed to physical issues. And then some people are just saying that he's going to be back pretty soon. Don't worry about it. The match is all still on. All that kind of stuff. So there's a picture.
Consistent.
Yeah.
Consistent
That's what you
journalism.
get in the wrestling world.
And we're just here to talk about other people's journalism.
Well, exactly.
So,
Too late to do our own.
we're not adding nothing to this.
But there has been a couple of pictures floating around where you can clearly see him in a
Well,
knee
that's
brace. I know, yeah, just floating. Fucking midair. But he's had a knee brace on and also a pretty severely dislocated or broken finger.
Oh.
Both of which.
LA Knight really fucked them up.
Well, exactly. And obviously a lot of people are joking, saying, how's it a physical injury? He hasn't even wrestled. It's like, well, he has worked a few house shows. So, you know. But
I mean, you got to wonder, though, like, his return has been a bit inconsistent.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, I mean, hopefully, like, well, do you know what? At this point, slightly controversial take, I don't even really care what happens as long as, like, he gets to a point that it's like he's doing something that makes him happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As maybe soppy as that sounds, is like, you know, the guy's like, no, he's clearly had a lot of like issue, like after the whole Brody thing, and you know, and mentally and stuff. And people have talked about how he was unhappy in his position in WWE, and he's come back to hopefully be happy in his position in WWE. And at the end of the day, it's just like, you know what, man, just fucking As long as it gets sorted.
Well, exactly.
Day, you know what I mean?
But, by all accounts, a lot of people are saying that there's actually nothing wrong. He's just been granted a brief period, either due to physical or personal issues. And he is going to, in fact, be there for Mania.
And let's be honest, right? Listen here, guys. If we're all being honest, right? Bray v. Bobby.
Oh, I don't want to see that at all.
Does anyone give a fuck if that match doesn't happen?
Well, exactly. I saw something, and I never go on Twitter because it's a cesspool. But I saw something on Twitter before, which was somebody alluded to, like, everyone's always kicking off at AEW about the lack of build for matches and stuff like that, and these matches just happen because they're going to be good matches. And it's like, well, what's been the build to Bray and Bobby? Bray came out randomly and said, I want to fight the winner of Brock and Bray. And that was it.
Yeah.
And then did a dancing video.
Let's be honest, right? They have enough good story going on to distract people from that, but every match Bobby's had has been, who's Bobby fighting next?
Yeah.
There's never really been a story to it. No. Goldberg wants to fight Bobby because it's Bobby. Brock wants to fight Bobby because he's Bobby.
Yeah.
Like, literally, Brock's match is, well, that guy's tall. That's not story.
Well, yeah. I mean, David and Goliath.
It's Goliath and Goliath. It's not. He's a bit. Well, he's notably taller than Brock, but they're both fucking massive.
I mean, to be fair, on Raw this week, the fans seemed into it, like they were
even into the inability to throw Brock over the top rope. With the into that,
how can you botch even that?
How can you botch it? Throw him over the rope? Yeah,
Jesus. But yeah, so Bray, it's still very unknown at the moment, but the update is apparently he's still going to be there and still fighting Bobby at Mania, but it's all kind of blown out of control a little
bit. Outside.
Let me in. Let him in.
Oh, yeah, it's me. So, Carl, very brief one in a sense. It's more that it seems the sale of WWE is imminent, or talks are. So, it looks like as soon as April, they'll be listening or engaging with those interested in the purchase. And notably, one of them has been the company that own the UFC.
Interesting. I should probably know what that is, shouldn't I? I can't remember who that is.
There's a trouble.
It's like a consortium, isn't
Dana.
it? Yeah.
It's not Dana.
Yeah.
But you have the company. In fact, that's.
Does it say who it is?
Endeavour. So there you go. So the rumoured asking price is $9 billion.
All right. Fucking Dr. Evil give them that
which
quote.
Is not to be sniffed at. So obviously the recent sightings of the elusive Vince McMahon have sort of spurred on the rumours that the sale is progressing nicely.
That can be the follow-up to Where's Wyatt.
Love it. So we could potentially have some news. This is me just reporting that maybe we'll have some news soon, but that's potentially we may have some movement on the sale of WWE as soon as April.
So it sounds like as soon as Mania's out the way, they're going to start ramping that up. I think,
stock price goes up,
well,
stock price goes down.
Yeah, I think Nick Khan said once they've found a buyer, it could literally be over within a matter of like weeks. So not like it's going to be over, like the company's gone, but like the sale will go through.
If you've got to spend $9 billion, you want it to last a little longer.
But I don't know. I still think this could be the biggest, thing to ever happen with WWE because it's the first time it's going outside the McMahon family to someone else.
True.
It could be amazing.
Yeah.
Could be fucking awful.
And do you know what? Like, this is the thing where I'm intrigued. We're not intrigued. We'll never know the truth of it when it comes down to the sale. But like, you'd hope that if Vince is involved in the sale, he'd want it to go to someone who's going to, keep the spirits of WWE. But then $9 billion. So
well, exactly.
He'd probably sell it to Satan himself.
But,
so
he already owns it.
Oh, sorry. He'd probably sell it to Trump.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I don't know. Like you say, I think it's like, well, who can stump up the money? And like UFC owners may be a good shout because they're into that's that similar industry. Not without offending the UFC guys who are like, it's fake. Yeah. It's similar industry, and they'll probably hope maybe try and put their spin on it a little bit, but hopefully try and keep the spirits of WWE. But if like a big conglomerate, is that the right word?
Yeah,
we'll like Disney or someone bought it, then you go, well, they're
hi everybody, coming up on WWE Raw tonight,
and it's just going to be like, all right, so we're going to have a Star Wars match.
I mean, it's practically fucking there already.
I don't even mean to do that. Anyway,
they own the Beatles because I can show my T-shirt off too.
Well, you're being very scouse.
Wow.
So like you say, there's a potential worry from a fan point of view of who buys it and whether it's going to fundamentally change what we love to watch.
Indeed. So the next one, bit of a short one, but noteworthy nonetheless, is Crimson, former of Impact or TNA fame, and previously of NWA more recently as well, has been arrested and jailed this past week. So back in 2016, he was involved in a domestic battery charge, basically. I think he headbutted his wife. Not the nicest thing to do. And as a result, he's since been like a restraining order filed against him. And he's been, I think it was during a wellness check, they found out that he'd been sending text messages to his son and also had been trying to call his ex-wife a lot, basically. So, it sounds like the police found out about that. He was in violation of the restraining order, and so he basically...
Back he goes.
Back to jail. So I think he's like $1,000 bail.
That's not bad.
But yeah, so not nice to hear, especially like obviously it sounds awful whatever's going on with him and his missus and stuff, but that obviously as parents, when it's like he's been texting his son and all that, do you know what I mean? It's like, you can never imagine a world where you can't obviously communicate with your own kid, but you know, you don't go around headbutting your missus.
It's true, and in today's day and age, you wouldn't think that'd be something you'd have to say, but here we are.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, don't want to dwell on it too much, but newsworthy nonetheless, and hopefully it all gets resolved for the whole family, I suppose.
Now, this one, Carl, is kind of surprising, actually, because I'm not sure what to make of John's comments here, right? And I don't want to speculate too much, and I know people will probably just want to defend John Cena. I'm not having a go at John Cena when I say this, but he, recently, in an interview with AP News, he was asked about the whole Vince McMahon allegation situation. And his comment surprises me in the sense of, like, he's almost like... Not that he's going, oh yeah, he definitely did that shit, but he's not gone, nah, like, not the Vince I know, I don't believe it, or anything like that. Yeah. What he said is, we all have poor decisions. Lord knows I've made my collection of poor choices. And I'm like, okay, let's unpack that for a sec, right? So you're kind of going, yeah, you know, he probably did. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, I think that, like, I don't understand the comparative here, John. Like, was your poor decision assaulting a woman? Because then maybe you can relate. Yeah. But I don't really think this... No. If it's true, the allegations against Vince wouldn't really fall under the category of poor decisions. No. Well, it's been reported, obviously, that Cena cheated on his wife and stuff and is divorced and everything like that. So I guess that he's alluding to that. Maybe. It's such a they're asking about the multiple allegations against Vince, and it's like you can't brush it all under the poor decisions. Yeah. Like it's a bit too broad a brush, that, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It's such a strange one with Cena, because for how much he's done for like Make-A-Wish and the kids and everything like that, you just look at him and just think, fucking hell, he's, you know, the best human being on the planet, don't you? But, you know, he has had previous you know, things as well in his own personal life and stuff where, you know, as he said, he's learned from them and he's made mistakes. But yeah, I don't think it's exactly the same as, like, you know, coercing somebody potentially, supposedly, and paying them off to keep. And it's the thing, and it's like, I think the safer bet, John, probably would have just been that to be like, I don't know. You know, because he makes another comment which, you know, I have no sort of questions over, because he obviously has some loyalty to the man. He's just said, it doesn't mean I'm not going to love somebody. There's no way I can go on record and say I don't love Vince McMahon. Like, well, that's fine. He's done a lot for him. He's a company guy. He probably has a really good relationship with Vince. Yeah. But it sounds like he's trying to almost do a little bit of damage control for his, you know, someone who he's got a really good relationship with. At the end of the day, he knows stuff's gone on, and he's not going to speak bad of him. He never would. So he's. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. We all make mistakes. Yeah, it's a bit too big. I don't particularly agree with the way he's handled it, but I think that's what he's attempted to do, isn't it? I think to your point, he should have just said, look, it's not my business to stay out of it, but I've got a lot of respect and love for Vince McMahon. The fact he's gone like, well, you know, that's the thing. To me, if he'd have been like, I can only talk about the Vince McMahon I know. Yeah. And that's this person. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because he himself won't know the truth of it. Yeah. Vince didn't exactly hopefully didn't go around being like, hey, guess what I just did? Who knows what happens in them crave meetings? So I say, but yeah, very strange, interesting take anyway from Mr. Cena. And speaking of interesting things that have happened, Anthony, the Bella Twins. Is very interesting. I'm sure we're going to start the AEW rumours pretty quick. Well, they're no longer the Bella Twins, so they've announced that they are going back to their own names. So they're now Nikki and Brie Garcia.
So
I've learned something today.
Well,
their names are Garcia.
Yeah. They are Garcias, but I'm trying to find the tweet that they put out. They basically tweeted out, "Today we are officially, from here on out, the Garcia twins, Brie and Nikki Garcia." Nikki says during the sisters' new episode of the SiriusXM show. Oh, that wasn't a tweet. Let me just read the whole lot.
Daniel Bryan stood there like, I thought you took my name.
Well, this is very, very true. So yeah, it's an interesting decision, and it's one which a lot of people kind of came out as well and kind of congratulated them and stuff, one of which being Saraya. And she got a lot of backlash saying, "Oh, you're so ungrateful for..." Because I think Saraya tweeted out something like, "It's so freeing, you'll really notice the difference," or something like that. And fans are like, "You're so ungrateful for your time in WWE, blah, blah, blah." To which Saraya kind of went back and said, "God, I wasn't saying that at all. I was just saying that, not being under a restrictive contract means, you can explore so many more opportunities." And
you know what? Outside of the contract, like, I kind of get what she's saying. Like, imagine, right? I say to you, Carl, come work for me, right? I'll pay you like £1 million a year, right? But I want to call you Dave, right? And then after a while, you leave Anthony Incorporated, right? And you go back to being Carl. Yeah. It'd be nice to be Carl again, wouldn't it? That's not to say you weren't happy to get $1 million a year.
Yeah.
But it's kind of weird getting your identity changed on you.
Yeah, although if you still then pay me, 50 grand a year to still call me Dave for a bit, I'd probably still be cool with that,
But my point being, like, I kind of get what she's saying, and like, I don't think it's ungrateful to be going like, it's nice to go by your own identity again, like that. Like, I mean, you have your Rybacks of this world who are like, "No, I love that name, I'm keeping it." Yeah. And then you have like your Sarayas and your Garcias of this world who are like, I'm just going to go by my own name.
Yeah, which, I don't know, it's interesting. For me, it solidifies that they're done with wrestling, at least done with WWE from a wrestling standpoint. Obviously, Bree's got...
They have so many things going on outside
some
the world.
pretty good links with AEW, but obviously, as we revealed last week, we don't know what's happening with Danielson yet, do we, either? So
we do not.
Who knows?
He's also going to go by Garcia.
Maybe. But yeah, obviously they've been up to so much, the pair of them anyway, with their own kind of brands and stuff. And obviously they're both, parents and things now as well. And they've got a lot of stuff going on in their lives. So maybe it is just closing the book on the Bellas and the stuff that they did. And, moving on to that next chapter, as they've said. I think even Britt Baker, she got a lot of stick as well. She was basically praising them and stuff and thanking them for everything they've done because it inspired her and that. And again, fans were kind of clapping back at Britt, on stuff. And she's like, what have I even said? It's not a WWE versus AEW thing.
This is what the internet's like these days. Anyone who was not from WWE who spoke to them would have just been there like, "You shut your AEW mouth," because it's just what they're like now.
It's strange.
Such a strange world.
But yeah, so obviously best of luck to the pair of them in their future endeavours. Not to sound like they were future endeavoured, but
indeed.
Yeah, excited to see what they do.
So, fairly quick one, as I feel like it might be a little bit old news now, Carl, but it has been confirmed that obviously Rey Mysterio is being inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. An unusual situation, in fact, because he's an active wrestler on the roster still, which you don't get too often. But it's been confirmed that his longtime friend and once tag team partner, if you recall the WCW days, Konnan, is going to be the one who inducts him into the Hall of Fame. Yeah,
which is quite surprising, to be fair. I think Conan's had maybe not a lot, but he's definitely been anti-WWE in the past.
Maybe we take the official party line of they went in different directions after WCW. Yes. I think it's probably the correct way.
But yeah, I think it's cool. Obviously, they're long-time friends, and it's nice that even though Konnan has never necessarily seen eye to eye with WWE, they're allowing him to induct his friend, which is obviously a really nice thing. Just a quick, to get your take on this as well. What do you feel about Rey Mysterio being inducted into the Hall of Fame, potentially as part of this storyline that's going on with Dominic? Because it's like, do you think it's disrespectful to... Because it's not like he's in the Hall of Fame, they're now using it as storyline almost, as a reason to book the match.
I mean, I find it really hard to like anything to do with Dominic. I get that some people do really enjoy it, but like recently they had the whole thing of him like, "Oh, all my friends got Mercedes and I got a BMW." It's like I get that we're trying to make you unlikable and spoiled, but I just don't enjoy it. Yeah. So
do you know what's funny though?
I don't get it,
and I don't want to derail it even more. But you've mentioned this about Cody in the past. You see him on Raw again this week. He was going on about, I don't wear these $5,000 suits because, I think I am somebody. It's because I want to be. It's like, you're a good guy. Stop going on about how expensive your stuff is, your red bottom shoes and this, that. It's like, come on.
To be honest, the only thing I can think, right, is that because he's come from nothing, if you will, and he's even alluded to it with the Paul Heyman stuff of like having $100 to the name or whichever, that's why he's so wrapped up in the cost of things. But it's a personal irk of mine when you encounter people in real life who the first thing they think about is money, how much money they've got, the things they own, the materialistic element. They're not a nice person. So like you say, to be a face and be talking about the expensive things you have just doesn't really feel right. And I don't know if that is like, I don't know if that's how it comes across to everyone, but that's certainly how it always comes across to me when he's doing that.
Yeah.
Because that was the main thing I hated about him versus MJF was a fantastic feud. But the first thing I hated about it was like, what, you want my expensive red bottom shoes? You want my Rolex? It's like, why are you just listing things you own?
Yeah. You want my super attractive black wife? It's like, okay.
She's not property, Cody.
But anyway, slightly derailing the conversation.
But yeah, it's I think it's really nice. And as you say, it's interesting because Connan's involvement with WWE is, I feel like, as he was it ever a brief time, or is it literally he's never been part of WWE?
Never been. Because he's always been kind of anti.
He was tag team with Ray at the very end of WCW, so I don't know if there was ever a point when he was technically.
What were they called? Fucking. They had like a stable, didn't they, where Ray wasn't wearing his mask and that for a bit.
What were they called?
Sorry, it's going to annoy you.
Sorry, yeah. It'll come back to me.
Yeah.
In fact, it'll come back to me because I'm going to click this link and tell you. Anthony Googles things.
So we'll move on to the next one while Anthony Googles things, which is former guest of the show, the lovely Madusa, whose book you can find now.
Filthy Animals.
The King. I knew it was something like that. Not you, Madusa, you're not filthy.
Wrong time to shout that.
Filthy Animal. She has revealed that she would love to have a retirement match. And obviously she's talking about the likes of Lita and Trish Stratus coming back and saying while they are awesome, it's kind of getting a bit repetitive now. We're seeing the same legends come back all the time. Would be nice for someone like her to, get the opportunity to have a match, an actual retirement match. Like, she's got a Legends deal, but they just choose not to use her. And she obviously said that she'd love to get in there with a veteran, so someone who can carry the match. So it would be someone like Natalya. She even said everybody wants to see her versus Charlotte Flair, which, you know what? Yeah. Generationally. I don't disagree. I
mean, I think we've said a few dozen times, like, they're always quick to let like the likes of Goldberg and that wrestle well into the late age, and they seem really squeamish to do it with women. Yeah. Like, how long does it took them to get like the likes of Trish and that back? Like, it's only very recently that Lita's come back for a run as a wrestler. Yeah. Mickey's probably the closest one we've had where they've, she was 2019 she was with WWE properly, you know. But WWE really haven't done that with female wrestling legends. So to me, I'd be all for that, man.
Yeah, exactly. So who knows? I can't see it happening, unfortunately, but I'd like to see her have a retirement match somewhere, even if not WWE. Obviously, if something she wants to do, then be nice for her to go out on her terms, I guess.
Agreed. So, Carl, do you remember this? Picture that surfaced of Ricky Starks? Yeah. Do you remember? Mm-hmm. Do you remember, Carl? Do you remember? So, it turns out that this picture may have been leaked by the arena or people, members of the staff maybe, or cameras from the arena. Security especially given the angle of it, it would suggest it's maybe some sort of security camera. So Ricky was recently speaking on Swerve Strickland's podcast, and he's actually referenced this picture, a bit jokingly saying like, you look great in the picture, you look ripped, etc. And obviously, made no bones about the fact that he's good friends with Cody, but he did make it very clear, what he does in his off time is his business, and he's actually pursuing potentially legal action against the arena for leaking the photograph.
Do you think he means it? Do you think it's in jest?
I don't know if he means it or not, but at the same time, you go, well, that is meant to be security footage by the looks of it. And so if it is the arena, and if they have gone, hey, look at that, as a leak, and obviously there would have been monetary, somebody would have bought that picture, so there'd been monetary value to it. They've sort of breached because it's done for surveillance, isn't it? So I don't really know the law for America very well, but obviously if you did that in our country, I don't think it'd be legal to use it for the wrong reasons because you've made it clear that it's for security purposes. Do you know what I mean? So to then use that to sell to the media, I don't know if you get away with that over here. So I don't think you get away with it over there either.
It's a fascinating one, to be fair, isn't it? Obviously, it's without his permission and things like that. But as you said, I don't know what the line is around. Because there's fucking cameras everywhere. It's probably. I'm
sure there'd be someone able to if he wanted to take legal action. I'm sure if a solicitor, sorry, let's talk in an American term, a lawyer, were to look at the signage up in that stadium, in that arena, I'm sure it'd be mentioned that they have surveillance for security purposes. I don't think they'd be like I don't think there'd be a disclaimer saying we may sell footage that we have of you.
This is true.
In which case, then that would be the argument, wouldn't it?
Obviously, if there was surveillance camera in a woman's fucking or any locker room, for example, and someone's getting undressed, and it's that's bad. You can't send them pictures anywhere. So who's to say you can send any? You know what I mean?
Well, look at it this way, right? If you're recording, say you have you own a mall, Carl. You own a mall, right? Mm-hmm. And
I love how we got all these different side hustles.
Your security cameras pick up like a kid falling down a stair. No, kid sounds a bit too harsh. A man falling down the stairs, right? Yeah. And you're like, I'm gonna make.
Hello, you've been framed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Funniest home videos. Here we come.
Yeah.
And if you could do that and get away with it, then I think we probably see that a lot more. But I'm sure that if you're recording for security purposes, you can't just be like, well, I'm gonna sell. It's there footage, I guess, but surely you can't sell it.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Anyone, you know what?
You tell us.
Maybe one day we should try and get a lawyer on the show who can maybe help debunk some of this stuff that I just randomly speculate.
That's good, true. Yeah. Any former lawyer gimmicks that we can bring on? I'll have to think about that.
Have we had a lawyer gimmick?
Probably. Well, we've got Smart Mark Sterling.
I mean, the closest thing I've seen, we kind of had JBL playing a judge, but I really don't want him on the show.
Yeah.
I kid, of course.
So the next one to talk about is Taya Valkyrie has reportedly finished up with Impact Wrestling. Now, she wasn't under contract, supposedly.
This is so weird, though.
Why?
Because she's a tag champion.
Well, yeah. I don't know whether they've potentially filmed something already in terms of how that's all going to go, but she wasn't contracted to Impact. She was obviously working for them as well as the likes of MLW and places like that, but the belief is that she's now finished up with the view of potentially going somewhere else. Now this could age like milk, because tonight on AEW they're in, I don't know where they are. Is it Winnipeg? Was that last week? I don't know. I think they're in Winnipeg.
You idiot.
But isn't one of the matches being discussed at some point coming up is Jade Cargill is going to defend against a hometown hero? Taya,
maybe.
Taya Valkyrie.
Yeah, I guess.
Winnipeg. Yeah. So are we going to see Jade dethroned tonight by Taya?
Controversial, that wouldn't it? But Taya, do you think Taya should be the one to dethrone Jade if we're going into this realm?
If there's anyone who probably could.
Fair.
She's certainly got the ability. She's got the size. She's got everything going for her. But yeah, do
you think we could see her in AEW, given that they didn't really keep hold of her fella?
Well, again, I don't know how much there was to that. Whether he wanted to be tied down. He loves just being Johnny whatever. Well, I don't want to speculate, but yeah, maybe he just wanted to do the indies.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll take your point, because obviously he didn't really miss a beat from being Johnny Elite to Johnny Impact and so on, did he?
Exactly. So
what is he now? Johnny...
He was in MLW for a bit, wasn't he?
Johnny Major?
Maybe it's just Johnny MLW.
Johnny League.
Yeah. What would you call it? So, yeah.
Can't even go with Johnny Wrestling.
No, can't be done.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so, don't know, basically.
Don't know.
That's the hard-hitting news we bring you here on A2theK Wrestling Show. But she's not going to be in Impact, so she might be in AEW. She might go somewhere else.
Ironically, making more impact.
Which leads us on to
our pal Devon, right? Recently speaking on Sportskeeda, he was asked about his current status in terms of in-ring. He's mentioned that him and Bubba have spoken and about the possibility of. And, there was a time that he didn't think it'd be a possibility. He's had major back surgeries, had to have some fusions, etc. But he actually did reveal that he's got an MRI scan. He said tomorrow. When was the interview? Yeah.
Again, Hard-hitting stuff. It was 4 weeks ago. It was bad.
No, it's fairly recent. This article came out on the 15th. Obviously, it was slightly before that, but he's having a recent MRI scan. And the MRI scan is to see if the fusions took place, and then if everything's still intact, what the position would be in terms of wrestling. So he did end it by saying it looks very good, but there's a possibility here, and I don't know how much or whichever, but there's a possibility that we could see some in-ring action, and we could see Team 3D, I suppose, because it wouldn't be the Dudley boys, but
back at it,
back at it, which is awesome.
It is awesome. It's we talk about this all the time in the wrestling business. It's so hard to leave it.
It is.
And I don't know. Look, I'm never going to sit here and say, tell Devon what he should do. At the end of the day, if he feels like he's got something left that he wants to accomplish within the business in a wrestling capacity, then it's like his prerogative, isn't it? It's over to him. But it
is, like you say, it's an addictive business, and he obviously thinks there's something he needs to do in the ring. So more power to him,
Yeah. So if he does go back, obviously wish him all the best, and hopefully he stays safe and all that good stuff. But yeah, crazy to think, like, when did we have him on the show? It wasn't that long ago, and it's a very drastically different landscape now, isn't it?
It's crazy. Like, since we had him on the show, it's like he no longer works for WWE. No. He is...
Well, he said he thought he was going to be there for a long, long time in WWE, and that was his intention.
Vastly different.
And now he's obviously had the opportunity to leave WWE, go on the indies, and potentially even return to the ring. So
crazy stuff.
It is. But yeah, whatever he decides to do, obviously we wish him nothing but the best, because he's an awesome guy.
He is indeed.
And that was another fun-filled episode of the news.
Fun-filled and action-packed.
So, shall we talk about our friends Top Rope? You may have seen us sampling some beverages as we talk.
Indeed. So this week's Top Rope Tuesday is No Birds Were Harmed. This is an Imperial Vanilla Custard Stout. Now, Carl, I am going to be completely honest about this one. I'm grossly unqualified to comment on it properly, because I'm not much of a stout guy.
Yeah.
So, I've tried it, I've sampled it. It's still very much not for me, because I prefer more of a lager than a stout. But again, if you're a stout person, the flavour notes in this are fantastic. You can really taste the custard and how sort of how much it adds to that. But as I say, for me, it's hard to sort of really go into much more sort of emphasis, because I'm not really a stout guy.
Yeah.
You get me? You get me?
Whereas I am short and stout. Here's my handle. And I mean, to be fair, I'm the same. I'm not really a stout guy, but at the end of the day, it's one of them, like, we poured it and we were like, whoa, we weren't expecting it to be like
everything so far has been like a beer, so we were like,
it's like a milkshake in this bitch. So
it is kind of milkshakey, actually, with the custard element.
It's not really
if you are a stout fan, I am confident this would be a delicious one for you, because it's just that flavour running through it is delicious.
And you know what, even if you're not, it's 8.5%, so you'll get twatted, which is
if you drink enough,
indeed, it's fine. So make sure you check them out. TopRopeBrewing.com, get yourself 10% off. Obviously, we have a different Top Rope Tuesday every week, and I think 99% of them we just absolutely.
This is the first one that has been non-beer and has been more of a stout, and it's the only time I've not been able to be like, that's fucking delicious. I'm going to down it, because
I think we're just unqualified. We don't drink Guinness. We don't drink stout. So
exactly. It'd be like me trying to talk about gin.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't drink gin.
Getting pissed. That's Anthony's thing. He just said it, made me laugh ever since. So I steal it. That's what I do.
To be fair, I stole it. I can't remember where from, but
it's fine. So where are you watching us right now? If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and as we say, don't worry about the notification bell. It's fine. It's cool. You check in with us when you want to check in with us. That's it. I like that. But if you haven't tried Pro Wrestling TV, just go and give them a go. You can download the app for free on all smart devices, your phone, tablets, TVs, and
not
you just
the dumb devices.
Wrestling 24/7. So you've got in-ring action from the likes of MLW, from the likes of Warrior Wrestling,
New South,
AAA, Jinx,
Women's Wrestling Army,
Women's
TNT,
Wrestling Army. Exactly.
OMG.
Yeah, all of them. And obviously you've got hilarious shows like us. You've got What Culture Wrestling on there. You've got Alicia A2theK has got the MLW Insider series. There's loads of good stuff, so make sure you just go and check it out if you haven't already. And obviously summer is coming up, so why not look the part in a to the KT? So head over to Pro Wrestling Tees to try our latest designs, including our most recent from Alt Wrestling Tees, who you can find on Instagram. And we're pretty much done. It's all the advertising malarkey, and so we'll see you on the next one.